pals, and there's also therapy too.
Okay, hello everyone. How's it going?
Welcome to Park Pals.
Welcome to Park Pals. Okay, so today, Maddie, would you like to give a little bit of an intro / like, what do you feel about what's happening with our...
Sure. We have an interview today for you guys, taking another break from the episodes with Michael Trim, who was DP on several episodes of Park and also then directed several. So the first one he directed was Park Safety. I'm correct, yes? Okay.
Yes,
But
which we just reviewed. Very timely, obviously.
Yes, so
well,
you'll
like
be up to date on that.
Whatever.
And then you'll hear he talks about where he first came in as DP was the Pawnee Zoo episode where Leslie marries the 2 male penguins.
Cute
so
penguins.
We get a lot of really great background information about what goes into being DP and kind of where he started and the steps you take to kind of move up into a director position if you're not starting out specifically as a director. So that was really cool. And we get some very interesting and new viewpoints on parks.
Well said.
So I think you guys will enjoy this one. It's a little bit different than any of the other interviews we've done. So it'll be a little change of pace. So
yeah,
hopefully you guys enjoy.
Amen. And well said to everything that you just said. That was perfect.
Thank you.
Yeah. The other thing that before I forget to say is that I do have to send him a few videos. I don't know what I'm going to edit out of this or how this is going to work, because there's a few times that I have to send him videos like reminding him what he did, which is hilarious and so wonderful and makes sense because it was a while back and he's done a lot of work. So you may hear things in the background of him watching the video or me typing to find the video or find the director of certain things. And I'm going to post it. But we talk about the Savage Garden music video, Crash and Burn, for all my 90s kids out there. And we talk a little bit about how wild that was. I will post it or just look at it right now. It's a treat.
Yes, it is.
So, yes, thank you to Michael for being on the show, and go check out all of the things that he has done. I'll link his IMDb so that you guys can make sure that you are aware of all the wonderful work he's done. He's worked on Madonna music videos like we talk about, and Orange is the New Black, and Weeds, which is interesting. We talk about a little bit of the crossover of Weeds and Parks, which is wonderful. But yeah, I really appreciated and enjoyed his time today. So, and just, it was very eye-opening, as I'll say in the ending. So
Definitely. Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, have a good week, and please enjoy Michael Trim.
There's a park and some pals, and there's also therapy too.
And you're in New York, right?
At the moment, yeah.
Okay, gotcha. You working on a project over there?
No, I'm just visiting the kids.
Oh, nice. That's exciting. Where in New York are you?
Tribeca.
Okay, cool. Nice.
Yeah.
And I'm guessing you've been there a bunch of times, right?
Oh, yeah, I used to live here.
Oh, okay, gotcha. When did you move to LA then? You've been there a long time then, huh?
Well, I moved to LA in '89.
Wow. Oh my gosh. So you've seen all the changes.
Yeah, because I moved here in '77.
Gotcha.
So, yeah, I saw some, because I lived in the East Village the whole time, like 1 block from CBGB. So.
Wow. Where
were
you from?
Jersey.
Okay, gotcha. So it wasn't like too far of a move.
Oh, no. I always wanted to move to New York.
Yeah. That's nice that you can kind of be like bi-coastal a little bit. You said your kids are there?
Yeah, I think I'm getting close to being done with California.
Okay, that's fair.
I mean, it's only got the weather. And I really don't like driving anymore.
Oh my God, I understand. We just
I don't want to have to drive.
That.
I don't want to have to drive to go to dinner. I don't want to have to drive, So I actually got rid of my car the other day.
Oh, really?
I think I'm going to try Ubering and just walking more.
Yeah, and see what happens. I know it's so hard because you have to budget for time for parking, and then we were just talking about how you have to budget for like paying for parking as well. So it's a whole thing.
Yeah.
So
it's funny because you asked me these questions. I went back and looked at I didn't watch the episodes, guys. But it just I forgot that I'd even done some of these.
I know. That's what a lot of people say.
Oh no, I mean I had to go
Mhm.
back.
Well, because it was so
Yeah, I
long
mean I
ago
went
now
back
too.
uh, to some of these fan sites or the wiki sites that just to go through the synopses of the like Fluoride. Wow,
The best. Oh my
I know I
god.
hardly remember that one at all.
Well, it's wild, Michael, because you were so like you were connected to these iconic Parks episodes, like to the fans and to us anyway. These are such pivotal moments, these episodes that you directed, and they were so wonderful.
That's what my daughter's the big
Mhm.
Parks fan, and she says the same thing. She was like, wasn't Fancy Party nominated for something? I'm like, I don't know.
Oh my god. Okay. Well, let's I wanted to tell you also Shauna Hagen, we interviewed her and she says hi, so I wanted to make sure I said that to you.
Yeah, no, Sean is wonderful. Sean
Yes,
is
we
doing
love
great.
her. She's
Sean is doing great.
busy.
Yeah, she's super busy.
Oh my gosh, she's
Mhm.
doing so many things. But
Yeah,
so
good for
like
her.
well, speaking of all the yes, good for her. And all the things that you've done and looking through all these synopses, what first brought you in to do Parks? Did you know somebody or was it your agent or what first brought you in to do it?
No, not my agent. Not for that one. That was I was working on Weeds,
Mhm. Yes,
and I
clap
guess
clap
I
clap.
guess so. I was doing Weeds, and I had worked with the producer Morgan Sackett
Mm. Mhm.
um, on a pilot. You know, a quick thing of my history because
Yeah.
I didn't start in TV. I was I was a cinematographer along with a lot of other things. I started in '77 as a PA and
Mhm.
electrician, best boy, gaffer,
Wow.
to a cinematographer. So I was doing Weeds, and I was doing mostly videos and commercials.
Yeah.
And then they all went away because the guys that I worked with, one of them had a heart attack.
Oh
There
no.
was a strike. It was a whole combination of a bunch of things.
Mhm.
And so then I got a phone call from my old agent telling me that this director wanted to talk to me that I had worked with years ago.
Mhm.
So I called him up and I said, where have you been? It's been like 9 years. And he said, well, I got into TV.
Mm.
He goes, and I'm doing a pilot. And it was a pilot that didn't get picked up. But he says, I'm doing this pilot and I want you to shoot it for me.
Mhm.
So I didn't realize that there's a list, like an approved list of people who can shoot for TV shows. Now
Mm.
somebody has to approve it.
Yeah.
So I wasn't on the list. And I years later, I asked Adam, how'd you get me to shoot it if I wasn't on the list? He said, everybody on the list was booked. So
Mm.
that was good. But so I did a good
Worked out.
job. Yeah, no, and I did a good job. I had so much fun. My background is narrative stuff. So, um, but like I said, it didn't get picked up.
Okay.
But that
Classic.
producer introduced me to another guy. That producer was Morgan Sackett. He introduced me to another director named Craig Zisk.
Okay. Mhm.
Craig was doing a lawyer show that lasted 6 episodes. It was
Mm.
called Head Cases.
Okay.
Um, and it only lasted 6 episodes. And when they canceled it, actually pulled the plug. Uh, I noticed that everybody already had another job.
Mm.
Like by that afternoon, I wasn't into the TV world yet. Like this was only
Yeah,
my
you didn't know what was
second
going on.
job. So I spoke to Craig. I'm like, everybody's gonna be working. Like I don't even know how to find a job. I mean, my agent's supposed to do that, but
Sure. But
so
they don't
anyway,
always have
yeah.
everything.
So
So.
anyway, he says, well, look, I've been asked to do this show Weeds. So the first season of Weeds was they got rid of everybody.
Oh.
They got rid of the DP, the director, showrunner. So they
Okay.
were trying out a whole bunch of new people. So Craig took me with him. I
Oh.
had to interview with Mary Louise to get her
Mm.
approval.
Yes.
So that was fine. That worked out. And then
What a great show.
that was a good show. yeah, I mean, they all go south after season 3.
We
They just-
loved it.
I know. I mean, I did too. I mean, I feel
I see what
very
you're
close
saying,
to
though.
that
I
show.
get it.
But I think story-wise, they just all go.
Yeah. Well,
You
if
know,
you leave it
as
on
a
the air
person-
for too long.
Yeah, but I mean, as a person who works on it, at that point, it just turns into family and not as much about like how stupid the show has gone. I mean, what was that one year that they put everybody in the motorhome?
Oh, I don't even remember that. I haven't
And then
watched it
it
in
was
a
like a
long
whole
time.
season where they just traveled America. It was all ridiculous. But so I'm doing that. I'm not directing yet. No, maybe I had just started directing, but hadn't committed. Was still doing both. Because on Weeds, sometimes I would shoot and direct.
Yeah.
So then,
Well, when you say shoot, do you mean like you were the DP or you were camera
Yeah.
operating? Okay.
yeah, no, I wasn't the operator. I actually, I was the operator on the final. I asked to be the operator on the final shot
Mm.
of Weeds, beautiful
Mm.
crane shot. But so I'm on Weeds. Morgan Sackett calls me up and says, I'm doing this show called Parks and Rec. We just did the first season, which was what, 6 episodes?
Yep.
He's like, and we're
Mhm.
totally retooling it, rethinking a bunch of stuff about it because we just did the first 6 without getting any feedback, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, he described the show to me that it was sort of like The Office. And I'm like, no, I'm good. I really don't like the American Office.
Okay.
No,
Controversial.
I mean, I don't think. I found.
No, it's not. I'm totally teasing.
Yeah, I mean, because I found I knew about the British one before.
Yeah.
And I mean, there's a perfect thing. What was it? Like one long season and then a Christmas special?
For the
The
Office?
British one.
Oh, the British one. I'm not as well versed in the British one.
Well, see but that's what I mean. Like that's what happened to the American Office. Was
Sure.
They just go so down that rabbit hole. But anyway.
I don't think you're alone in that opinion. That's for sure.
Yeah. So I told.
No, yeah. Some of the best seasons are the third seasons. Like that's where they reach their, their peak. And then you're right. Like that's the trend.
So I was feeling pretty good at the time. I'm like, I'm going to get work. I may have even won an Emmy at that point. I can't remember.
Huzzah. Congrats.
But yeah, huzzah. And trying to get on that show actually. But anyway, so I told Morgan no. Like not interested.
Yeah.
But thank you. But that's not my kind of show.
Okay.
So 3 weeks go by and I'm not getting any calls. So I call Morgan because at that point, in my career as a DP, you have your crew.
Yeah.
Your crew would like to work.
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
paycheck.
Yeah. So I'm like, okay. So I called Morgan back and I'm like, have you found anybody yet? He's like, no. I said, all right, well, I would give it a shot. So then I had to interview with Mike Schur and Greg Daniels. So who listens to this?
All Parks fans. I don't know if Mike Schur or Greg Daniels.
I'm not. No.
I don't think they listen to it, but no, Parks fans.
No, God bless Mike Schur. Jeez.
Oh my gosh, he has so many things.
It's
How
just-
did that
it's-
interview go with them?
It was
Do you
fine,
remember?
Yeah, no, it was fine. I mean, they were looking for somebody. They needed somebody.
Yeah.
And like Morgan knew that I was capable of doing it.
Sure.
But I just, that's one of those meetings where they just want to meet you.
Right, and see your vibe.
It's not about whether or not you're capable. It's whether or not, this is how I feel anyway, it's whether or not you feel like hanging.
Yeah. Because you're going to be with those people all the time. So, I mean, if
All
your
the
personality
time.
sucks, then.
So they were like, do you have any questions? And I said, yeah, I do. Because I probably watched like the first 2 or 3. And I said, well, here's my question, like as a DP, is you know, you tell me it's like The Office, and I understand the British Office was seriously about making a documentary.
Yeah.
The American one, they forgot about that almost immediately. And so I said to Greg, so who's doing this? In the Parks and Rec thing, who's filming them?
Like, who's the documentary crew kind of thing?
Who are
Yeah.
they looking at when they give that look to the camera?
Mm-hmm.
And Greg, who I think has an awesome absent-minded professor act,
Mm-hmm.
he's like, oh, that's not important.
Yeah.
I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, he's like, as far as I'm concerned and we're concerned, that's now just a style. Like, it doesn't have to have a reason.
Mm.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. The Office, the American Office, definitely created that, where it's just like, this is the mockumentary style, and Greg Daniels was just creating this whole little vibe that wasn't done before, and it is like you were. I mean, I think about that too. At the beginning, you're just like, who are they actually talking to? Which is interesting that they break that fourth wall in The Office, like way later in the seasons. But especially with Parks, we never meet behind the crew or behind the scenes of who is filming, so it's just the ambiance.
Yeah. So that was just so hard for me to wrap my head around. And it was also, like, technically, you know, you were always using the two cameras because it's like you're filming a documentary.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but your job as a DP is to at least, you know, make people look decent.
Yeah.
And it was, I remember, I told my gaffer was extremely experienced guy, and we were used to lighting things to make them look good.
Right.
So then the first day that we shoot was this I remember, the penguins.
Oh yeah, at the zoo.
That was the first. I think
Yeah.
that might have been the first episode of the second season. So we go to the zoo. It's the old zoo in LA. It's, you know, it's not a zoo anymore, but it used to be.
Yeah, like underneath Griffith Observatory.
Yeah, right in that area.
Mm-hmm.
So we're there. The sun is out. It is just coming down on Amy like this.
Yeah.
There's like just her nose is so bright. I can't put anything overhead because the other camera would see it.
Right.
And I just sat there. I was depressed the entire day.
Oh
No, and then the next day I went in. And I remember saying, you know, I wanted to talk to, you know, Greg or Mike, because I said, it looks horrible. Like, you know, I think it looks horrible.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure that you're going to be happy with what I'm doing. And they were like, no, this looks great. Yeah. Yes and no. Because, yeah, if you think it looks great, I guess that's fine. But I don't know. It's against everything you know as a DP to have
Right.
someone's
It's something
nose.
different than what you're used to. So wrapping your head around that. Yikes. Wow. That's so interesting.
And then same thing when you're on a set. Like when we were on the set, which was like, I would say 80% of the time, you know, you're same thing, because you have cameras from two angles. You can't necessarily make the lighting look good. And there were times when I got called up. Greg called me up to the office one day.
Mm-hmm.
And this was pretty early on. And I told, because I remember I told the guys, I said, you know, I think we're done. You know,
Like done being the director or done working on the show?
I think we're done being the DP and the crew on
DP.
the show.
I see.
So yeah, I haven't directed yet.
Okay,
So
got it.
And Greg shows me a scene, you know, of Amy in her office, and he says, "See that light on the back wall?" And I'm like, "Yeah." He goes, "It's pretty." He says, "I don't want that." I said, "Okay." So that then made it really hard.
He wanted something like gritty and authentic. Is that what you think that maybe he was going for?
I don't think I personally
looking good all the time.
yeah, I'm not sure that Greg could verbalize. Sometimes a look is a hard thing
Sure. Everyone
to
sees
put
it
into
so differently in
words.
their brain.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like at that point, it was easier for him to say, no, I don't like that. I think as opposed to what he did like.
Got it.
And I
Try to
think,
get closer, like by process of elimination almost.
yeah. And so I think we got there, and I tried to like thread that needle because it was just, I mean, look, I bought my gaffer a ton of games on the phone because there was nothing for us to do.
Oh,
There was no
interesting.
way. I told him, I said, look, here, because he was almost going to quit because there was no challenge to it. And I said, look, well, why don't we set ourselves this challenge? Let's just make it look better than The Office, which almost anyone can do. Because I think on The Office, they really took like Greg's thing to heart
Vision,
in
yeah.
terms of what it looked like.
Yeah, well, and that's one thing that I remember Greg talking about just in interviews where, or maybe it was Mike Schur, but either way, The Office was supposed to be kind of just one stationary camera kind of following and doing the talking heads, like running kind of Survivor style situation, whereas Parks was a little bit more of a balance. And again, maybe it's just hard to verbalize, but to have the two cameras in the talking heads where you can cut away, and that was
Yeah.
like the big difference. But I see what you're saying, where The Office was just like kind of, it looks a little low budget, especially at the beginning. It's just like a straight up, this is a camera, we're following the people at the end. And that's kind of what Greg wanted.
Yeah.
So I see what you're saying about how that's set up.
So that
Yeah.
that was that. So then I did the show, and I had a great time being the DP. I mean, I was bored, but I did tell. I think I told Morgan. I asked Morgan, you know, if I do it, could you get me one to direct? Because I had begun to direct on Weeds,
Mm-hmm.
and you know, he said probably. So
Yeah.
and I think I did get to direct one the first season that I was on it, like later in the season.
Yeah. The first
And
one
that was
we
the Park
have is
Safety.
Park Safety. Yes, with Andy Samberg. So good.
I know. I don't remember a lot.
Okay.
I remember I got Andy to do he was such a sweetheart.
Oh, that's good
He
to hear.
oh no, such a nice guy.
Maddie's
And
obsessed with Andy Samberg, so anything that you say will be.
I love him so
good.
much.
No, I mean just like just being in the room, like a really good energy.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember he did I forget whose birthday it was. It was one of my kids' birthday, but he did a little hello thing on. I did a little video with him.
Yeah.
So that was very sweet.
That's so
Yeah.
nice.
That's
Yeah,
cute.
and he didn't have to do that. That's so lovely. I love hearing that.
I remember being in the park because that was the where he's talking about all the raccoons peeing in the
Yes. In the golf cart. Okay, I have a very specific question for you, and a lot of these might be specific, and if you don't know the answer, that's totally fine, no big deal. But in that one specifically, when they're in the golf cart, they have to take one person out because it's so heavy, and that's when they're like, Jerry should probably get off, but like he just had a bad day, so they make Tom get off. And
Right.
I am wondering, this might be a stupid question, so forgive me, but Andy Samberg presses on the pedal and it sputters. And I'm wondering if it was rigged some way that way, or would it have been he just like pretended to press the golf cart pedal and it doesn't go? Because I don't
because it's
understand.
sputtering because it's too heavy.
Yeah. Like, was that real?
He
Like,
was probably
Mhm.
he was probably faking that.
Okay.
Like maybe just kind of tapped it a little bit so that
And it didn't go. Yeah. Okay.
yeah.
It was a quick cut, so you can't really tell where his foot is. But I was like, that's so
Yeah.
fascinating to me. But yeah, that
Well, let me
raccoon
tell you,
piss
I
line
mean,
is hilarious.
It is hilarious. But I'll tell you something else.
Yeah.
I mean, you should certainly this is not a DP show. It's not a director's show.
Mm-hmm.
You should certainly find an editor to talk
I'm
to.
trying. Dean Holland is on the top of my list.
I ran into Dean the other day, actually. I was walking in Pasadena. But yeah,
If
Dean
you see
and
him, can you tell him to look us up?
yeah. Dean
I'm half
and,
joking,
there
but
was a-
mostly serious.
There was a British guy. I can't remember his name, but I'm sure it's on IMDb.
He's an editor?
Yeah,
Okay.
because then he edited most of mine. Dean was really the. I mean, I got to say, I think that was Dean's show.
Mm-hmm.
In terms of
Mm.
Dean
The
had a lot of
backbone.
influence on that show.
Yeah.
You know, being that editor and really he connects really well with Shure.
Yes.
And I think he also had the patience to watch all the shit that we would shoot.
Yeah.
Because it was it was a crazy amount because you wouldn't turn the camera off.
That was going to be one of my questions. I'm so glad you said that because everyone has that. Every director we've talked to has said that where they have the fun runs, which is, you know, the improv thing. But I was wondering, I feel like everybody has their own technique of like whether they decide to turn it off or keep it on. Were you told specifically to leave it running or was that just like a choice or how'd that work?
I think they wanted it running all the time just so that they would. Like you wouldn't cut the camera. You would cut, but you wouldn't cut the camera all the time.
Right.
That's the way I remember it. Because
Yeah.
what I remember more than that was the result of that, which was some poor editor's assistant
Yeah.
had to you know, do
Comb
all
through
that
all the footage.
overnight, you know, and then it's a ridiculous amount of work. It's not I don't really
Work that way.
it's not the most enjoyable way to work.
Interesting.
That's what I mean.
Okay.
Like, you know, as a director, I mean, at that point, you're just kind of like, I feel like you're just letting them, and I mean, Jesus, each one's a comic genius. So,
Mm-hmm.
you know, at that point, you just want to give them the space to do their thing
Mm-hmm.
and kind of stay out of their way and maybe try and throw a visual gag or something in. But again, it wasn't that kind of show so much.
Yeah, yeah, where there wasn't like a lot of avant-garde or cinematography, if you will. I totally hear that.
Yeah, no, there was none of that. So,
Right.
yeah,
Okay,
that
I
was,
have
go
another
ahead.
question though about park safety really fast. So,
Go.
we start talking about Avatar in park safety, and then in the next one that you direct, which is April and Andy's Fancy Party, they have all those little invitations that Andy and April give to everybody, saying you need to bring X, Y, and Z. And one of the things that they have that they tell to bring is Avatar with 3D glasses and a 3D like compatible TV. And I read somewhere, and we were talking about this on another podcast episode, where the writers were talking about Avatar because it had just come out at that point. Do you remember anything about why Avatar was so prominent in the writers' room?
No.
Okay. It was so weird to me. I was like, why is this being brought up so many
I mean,
times?
Yeah, it doesn't
Over
take
and
much
over.
in a writer's room for somebody to like start something like that going. But no, I don't even remember the Avatar thing.
Okay. Because I just thought it was so coincidental that you had directed both of those.
It was, yeah, your two
That
episodes.
is weird. Yeah.
You just happened to be there at that time.
Yeah. No, and even, I mean, the Fancy Party, I remember two things about Fancy Party. Was that goth kid was hilarious.
Oh my gosh, Oren.
Because I think that was the
Love
first
him.
time we see Oren.
Yeah, it is.
It's like,
Mhm.
and
That's
the party was fun. The other one is, oh wait, Whittles. Harris Whittles was in that one.
Yes. That's what I'm saying about all these iconic episodes, especially April and Andy's Fancy Party. Like, it really is, because not only do we see Andy and April get married, but then we also see Ben and Leslie start to finally say, like, I like you.
Oh, that's
like,
right. That's right. 'Cause
Subtlety.
They have that. They meet in the kitchen at the end.
Yes. And then we
Mhm.
get to see Burley and Alan Yang and Rivers, because the band Mouse Rat plays at the wedding.
That's right. Mouse Rat played.
Yes. And I'm just like, it's
The
so
stacked episode.
stacked. But yeah, were you gonna say another memory? I might have cut you off. I can't remember.
Well, I mean,
Harris,
you know, that
Harris.
yeah, Harris. You know, and Harris isn't with us anymore. But
Right.
I remember because I just remember when he threw the bird and it just landed on the ground.
Ask about that.
So
The dead
funny.
pigeon. We have a running
That's
joke
one
on
of
this
my
podcast
favorites.
about all the pigeons in the backgrounds of the talking heads. And so when that dead one came out, I
Mhm.
was like, oh my God.
I think they
And
eventually
Colton's
got rid
line
of the
okay,
pigeons.
that one's dead. We know that.
I think they.
We should track that, Holly. If they get rid of the pigeons, we should track when
Because
they
I
stop putting them in
remember
there.
I may have wanted some pigeons or something, but I don't remember if they, because they were a pain.
Yeah, I mean, I would imagine.
That's funny.
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
I'm trying to think. Fancy party.
Do you remember? So, did you know? So, when April is walking down the aisle, they are playing Simon and Garfunkel's song "April Come She Will." Did you know they were going to have that song? Like, I wonder if that had any.
I don't know if I knew that at the time.
Okay, yeah, I was wondering if it had any sort of influence on how you were directing it. But I mean, it could just.
No, that was just shoved all those people into that room.
Wow.
That was the extent of that. That was there was just so many people.
So many people, so many extras.
So I mean, at that
April's
point,
sister.
yeah, and at that point, and again, with Shauna and Tom, the two camera operators, and then sometimes a third, then you just tell them to treat it like a real documentary.
Right. Or it's almost like that one for sure. It almost seemed like a home video or something. You know what I mean? But like nicer. Yeah, I love that. And then, okay, going back to park safety really fast, I had a question, if you remember. So Jerry has this scene where he falls into the river, and that's how he breaks his arm. And I'm wondering, number one, if you have any memories of that, but number two, if you remember that there was a stunt person. Like, do you remember that? Because I think it was.
I think there was a stunt person.
Okay, because we talked about it,
sure,
but I wanted to confirm.
I'm sure Jerry would have tried.
Yeah.
I mean, he's totally gung-ho for everything, but I'm sure there was a stunt person for that.
Okay. That makes a lot of sense.
But I remember we filmed it the same day, I think, as the raccoon piss.
Yeah.
Because it was right there in that same general area of like a park.
Okay. Gotcha. Oh, that's so good. And then for Andy and April's fancy party, okay, I was watching these, and these cold opens are also mega iconic. Like, this one is for the wedding, the fancy party. This is where they're in the conference room, and Ron pulls out his tooth.
He pulls out his tooth?
And I remember seeing the blooper of him pulling out the whole plate. Do you remember that?
I don't, but I because what I remember, it's just everyone's reaction.
Yeah.
The reactions were so awesome. I thought that was funnier than him pulling the tooth out.
I know. Awesome. Tom passes out.
Yeah.
Like literally on the floor.
Yeah. I forgot that we would do those little cold opens, and then you go to the
actual
to the song. The song.
Yeah, the theme song. Which go ahead.
No, it cracks me up that you guys interviewed that guy.
Which guy?
The guy who wrote the song.
Oh yeah! Oh my gosh!
Oh
yes,
yeah.
Vincent, we love him.
He was our first
ever interview. He was perfect.
That's funny.
His stories are amazing too.
I'm sure.
Oh my god! And then with Fluoride, the cold open, was that with the Colts? Do you remember that?
Okay, I was going to ask you.
Yeah.
Because I could not find the Colts anywhere in those synopses of those 4 episodes.
It was
because they don't talk about the cold open.
Right. That's not part of the story. Oh my god.
No, that was the last thing I did.
Oh yeah. Well, that was the last episode for sure. Was it the last scene? Do you think that you did?
That was the last scene I shot on that episode.
Oh.
Because we went after we were done shooting the rest of the episode. We went to Indianapolis.
Wait, you actually went to Indianapolis?
Wow.
Yeah, we shot the guys, right? Isn't that the one where Retta?
Yeah. Yeah, she says no to the linebacker.
Right. Yeah. No, that was Retta was saying no to the linebacker.
Wow. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
I didn't know if y'all flew out everybody to LA. That's dope. I had no idea.
Yeah, because we were in that dome.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was an interesting day.
Do you remember talking to any of the Colts players, or
were
they just around?
I think I spoke to the quarterback,
Andrew Luck.
I spoke to him, and but I'm not a sports person. Actually, towards the end of that, Dean kind of stepped in and said, "Trim, this is what they're supposed to do." Oh yeah, but it was fun.
Yeah, that's amazing. I just remember
That's
because
cool.
Tom had his little like grill and little like cooler thing, and then he just
Yeah,
randomly go fetch this football, and he just throws it haphazardly.
no, and that's what it was. There was so much stuff to do that day
Hmm.
because they
Mm.
had so many that's the part that, maybe the thing that makes the show even better, but that's the part I didn't like so much was,
Was trying to fit everything in.
well, you're trying to, you with the comedy thing, it's like, let's just keep going.
Mm.
There's always a chance, that something can
Mhm.
happen. And it's true. But
Now, when you before, because I guess Weeds wasn't so much of a comedy at all, and it definitely was a different vibe than Parks. So, like, what would be your favorite thing to direct, or what was your favorite thing to direct before Parks? Like, I know you did Orange Is the New Black too, but was that after? That must have been after Parks, right?
yeah,
Okay, that's what I thought. Okay,
yeah,
so
no, because
like,
by then I was only a director,
oh, I see.
and Weeds had finished, and Genji from Weeds asked me if I wanted to go to New York and do a big chunk of the first season of Orange.
Okay, gotcha. And that's
So
a
yeah,
whole nother vibe from
Yeah.
Parks.
yeah, but and that's, it's funny because people would always, especially Weeds and Orange, but people are like, how do you do that? How do you balance that
Mm-hmm.
comedy and the drama? And I said, well, I don't really notice a difference
Mm-hmm.
that much. It's
Yeah.
just part of the same story. But some people get very like they concentrate on either, like, more of a comedy or more dramatic.
Mm-hmm.
I would say that at this point, and yeah, at this point, I would lean very much less for a comedy.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Comedy's not Comedy's always fun,
Sure.
but it's not as much fun for me creatively as it is with something that can have a little more dramatic stuff happening.
Yeah. So was Parks kind of like the first transition into this new technique of filming for you, would you say?
Yeah, the documentary style thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, other than having worked on documentaries, yeah.
Yeah.
No, I mean, like I never shot a
Mockumentaries.
documentary, but I had worked on them, years ago. But
Sure.
yeah,
Yeah. So I bet I can imagine, that's so interesting you say that because I'm trying to wrap my head around going from something dramatic to something as comedic / a little bit more improv-y to Parks. And that's, yeah,
well,
that would be such a
yeah. I mean,
crazy transition.
yeah, and you try, and I feel. I mean, I shot what did I do? The pilot for 30 Rock,
Mm-hmm. Yes.
and
We love
and like
30.
three or four episodes after that. I mean, that's comedy.
Yeah,
But
totally.
but
And
that
that's a kind of a similar vibe. I mean, they're not doing talking heads in 30 Rock, but it's definitely like mockumentary almost, I feel, from
Mhm.
them like following people down the hallways and stuff like that. But it's definitely more sitcom-y. I don't think it's
yeah, I think
on the
for me
same
that was
level.
more of a sitcom thing, and just 30 Rock's just super smart comedy,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
much like Parks. I mean, they're all
So
Harvard
fast.
boys. They're all Harvard. It's all
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
It's all the Lampoon,
Yes.
right? I mean, Sure was
Yeah.
the editor at the Harvard Lampoon.
Right.
Aisha. You talk to these people, and remember it's like 10, 12 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And Aisha's telling you, like, I remember when it was the Facebook,
Right. Oh
because
my
those were
God.
the years that she was there.
Mm.
So it's like,
Wild.
just, yeah. So I mean, all super smart people.
Right. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
In Fluoride, that also has the scene where Jam, the council member, comes out for a brief 5 seconds and shows us his yellow car, and he says, "I got a Japanese girl to sit in it once." And I counted, and it was a total of 5 seconds, maybe 4.5, not even 5 seconds. And I am wondering, for a 5-second shot like that, where even the stenographer comes out, how long of a setup are you doing for a payoff of 5 seconds?
Wait, I'm trying to remember. You think that's on YouTube?
Maybe. Yeah. I mean, maybe if you type in Jeremy Jam yellow car.
How did you spell his last name?
Jamm, I think.
Oh, right.
Yeah, I think it's 2 M's.
Let me see.
Yellow car.
Yellow car, Fluoride. I'll type in Fluoride too. Oh, it's going to make me watch an ad.
He was pretty funny, that guy.
He's hilarious. Oh, wait.
He
Okay.
makes you hate him so much.
I found
He's
it.
so good at that.
I'm going to
Where
email
is
it to
it?
you. It's
Right.
and it's at 27 seconds of this video. Hold on. This is hilarious. They have a compilation on YouTube that says the best in parentheses or worst of Jeremy Jam. Because he's such a tool in this show.
Did you send it to me?
Yes, I've emailed it to you.
Oh, here it
Might
is.
take a second. And it's at 27 seconds once you get
All right.
past the ad.
Got an Asian girl to sit in it once.
Why did we come out here?
Who
Yeah.
here thinks parks
Oh,
nice?
no, that was exactly.
Let the
It
record show that
probably
everyone
took
is raising
exactly that
money.
long.
Really?
I mean, that's the parking lot behind the stage.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sure myself or somebody went out there and said, "You can put the Porsche here.
Okay.
This is the shot." And then at some point, it's like, "All right, everybody, let's run outside."
Oh, wow.
I mean,
okay.
you do 6 or 7 takes of that, and everybody's
good to
having a
go.
good time, and then you're done.
Wow. Okay. Okay, well, that's good to know because
Yeah.
I like that better that you didn't have to spend 800 years setting up something for a
No. There was nothing like that
Yeah. It was all
in
just
terms of
really smooth and
spending
fast.
time. It was that was the idea.
Right.
Start
That's
aiming the
crazy.
cameras at them and let them go.
Okay. Question about the exterior shots. You know those exterior shots where they set up where you are before you go inside of the city hall, and there's extras walking up and down the stairs. And this is in any show, so obviously, you'll see the outside of just for the listener, you'll see the outside of the hospital before you go into the scene of ER. I'm wondering, do you get to shoot those, or are
No, I didn't shoot. I didn't
those
shoot
just
any.
stock where
I
they
bet
pull something
they
out of
might
the
be-
editing folder?
They might be stock footage. I mean, that's Pasadena City Hall.
Right.
So I think that's either stock footage or they sent somebody out for a day
Okay.
to
'Cause I
get
know
those
that they
kinds of
change it.
shots.
They change it subtly. They'll have, 4 extras walking up and down the stairs, and then the next time they'll have 1. You know what I mean? To
Yeah.
show the passage
Yeah,
of
the
time.
only time I shot, and I mean, I live in Pasadena, so I would have liked to have done it more. But
Yeah.
the only time I shot at the city hall was when the episode with Fred Armisen.
Oh, sure. Yes. Sister City.
Yeah.
And they're on the stairs, and he brings out a radio, or no, he doesn't bring out the radio. Tom brings out a
Something.
radio.
Yeah. It was so insane.
Wait, were you filming that then, or were you DP'ing that one?
I think I was the DP on that. I think.
Okay. Wait, did you ever camera operate on Parks? I can't remember.
No.
Okay, just DP. Okay, got it. Not just. I don't like that word.
No. But no. That was no. I knew I wasn't going to be doing that because it really mattered. Every operator we had, I mean, Sean and Tom were the 2 main ones, but there were times when we needed extra operators or times when one of them wasn't around. Everybody we had, we pulled from more of a documentary operating background than a regular camera operating background.
Gotcha.
Like a narrative. The handheld thing is a special. First of all, they got to be willing to do it all day.
Yeah. Sean and I talked about that a lot, the physicality of it all.
Super. I mean, yeah.
Insane.
And those cameras were heavier back then. All that kind of stuff. And it's a lot of work. It's a lot of physical work.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I forgot what I was saying there.
No, I was just asking if you were ever a camera operator on there. So that answers my question. And were you were DP'ing, you said, before you were directing. And so would you say that you liked the directing part of it better then because there wasn't as much DP fun for you in parks? Or is that hard to answer?
I don't think I noticed a difference necessarily.
Okay. Kind of the same.
Partly because it's the same thing on Weeds I always felt like when I directed, it was like, since it was my crew, like the whole crew were the people that I hired.
Yeah.
Grip and Electric anyway. I was like, we can make believe that there's no director.
Right. Yeah. Interesting.
That's the way I usually approach it.
Is that common for you to bring in your own crew? I mean, it sounds like it is. Or is for everybody to do that? Or is that just like had built this team, so you wanted to bring them with you?
No, a DP usually has a crew, especially, like in your hometown.
Oh, okay. That's cool. Got to build this.
No, I had the same gaffer for 10 years, I think.
Did he work with you or she work with you on Weeds and all the other shows you've done? Okay. That's awesome. Good to know. Speaking of Weeds, we talked to, he sent in a voice memo. Andy Milder plays the, he's so sweet from his voice memo, but he plays the Snake Hole Lounge guy. He was so fun.
Yeah. I forgot that he was the Snake Hole.
Yeah, he plays this like kind of sleazy Snake Hole Lounge dude. But he was great. He was so sweet and nice, and he sent us in a wonderful voice memo with a lot of behind the scenes. And then there's a gal named Becky Thayer. Did you work with her? Do you remember?
That sounds familiar.
Because she was the Sue's Salads lady for the Parks people, and then Weeds did this. Did they do a spinoff where it was like a morning show? I wanted to ask you about this because Becky Thayer was in that.
Okay, wait. Now I think I know who she was.
She's blonde, bangs. I don't know if she has bangs now, but she did at the time.
Okay, wait. Becky.
Thyre is her last name.
Yeah, totally remember her.
Yeah.
She's insane. Absolutely insane.
She's so funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I just thought that was really interesting that there's a bunch of Weeds crossover. I mean, I know the entertainment world is smaller than we think, but it's just really cool.
I think especially in that she's married to a guy named Tony Millionaire. Especially in that world, I think.
You mean like comedy world?
Yeah. I think there's funny people. I remember that on Weeds and all those shows where those same people, because they're funny.
Yeah. So at least that was something too, where like on set all day, you're just laughing. That's nice. It's just a nice vibe.
There's no doubt. I mean, it was all, other than the pressure of like having to get it done. You're always laughing.
Did
Amy's
they
funny.
do a morning show? Did you work on that?
On Parks?
No, for Weeds. Sorry. I'm stuck on that.
Morning show.
It's not called The Morning Show. I'll have to look it up and send it to you later. But they did like a spinoff or something. And I was going to ask if you worked on it, but it doesn't sound like it. So
no.
I'll have to send it to you later. I don't think it was very popularized because I watched Weeds when it was on, but then I didn't really hear anything about that until after I researched like who all had been on it. So anyway, just curious.
That's funny. Yeah. No.
Okay. Well, I was going to ask too, is there a specific trajectory of doing like for common people? I'm sure everyone has their own stories, but I guess for you personally, were you DP'ing first? Which I know on Parks you were, but like, how did you get into DP'ing, and then like, how did it start as far as your first ever thing? You know what I mean? Like, what's the trajectory there? That might be a long story, so you can cut it down if you need to.
No, I'll cut it in half like right away. So I was a gaffer.
Okay.
And as a gaffer, I was lucky. I got to work on a lot of like fun things, a lot of really good things. And so I moved to LA. I got I married my wife, who's from LA,
Oh, okay.
and I'd had it with New York for a while. So I said, let's go to LA. So I moved to LA, and there, I fell in with a bunch of good people quickly
Mhm.
for various reasons. I moved to LA right after I had finished working on Mississippi Burning,
Okay.
and like that won the Academy Award that year.
Oh, wow.
So
I didn't realize that.
and I fell into a producer friend of mine who worked both coasts, hired me for a little commercial
Hmm.
in LA, and the other producer on that job produced at Propaganda Films.
Okay.
So David Fincher was doing a Madonna video, Express Yourself,
Oh, yay. Okay, cool.
and they wanted a pre-rigging gaffer
Okay.
because this was a tremendously big job,
What
especially
does
for
pre-rigging gaffer mean? Sorry,
means
I'm not.
that would be the person who would go in and put all the lighting up before
Okay.
anybody else got there.
Gotcha.
So that
Okay.
so that when they're ready
Awesome.
to shoot, you show up, you shoot, and then you leave, and then the pre-rigging gaffer takes it all down.
Okay. Lots of
So
work.
so they wanted somebody who was experienced because not everybody on the crew had quite as much experience because music video crews were a different bunch of people back then.
Yeah.
So I went in and I did that, and I had fun, and then I ended up working with that DP a lot, and he worked for Fincher and Michael Bay because these were all people who worked at Propaganda Films making commercials and videos.
Hmm.
This is before they made movies.
Mm-hmm.
So then what happened was somebody asked me if I wanted to shoot something. And he said he was going to try and put together a director's reel for commercials.
Mm.
So I said, sure.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah. So I did 3 commercials. And then I think I somehow got word to Fincher because he was continuing to work with him that I was starting to shoot.
Okay.
So back then, this is like early 90s.
So were you gaffing then for
Yeah.
all these commercials? Okay, got it. Still good with the gaffer. Okay, got it.
And then, so this is early 90s. MTV used to have these spots for Rock the Vote.
Sure.
Right. Yeah.
So the early ones were really good, and those would be directed by Fincher.
Oh.
So,
That's cool.
So he would do them for free. So then he said to me, I got these Rock the Vote spots. Why don't you shoot 3 of them? So I'm like, okay.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and then that's all you need.
Yeah.
Is that Fincher hired you. So
Yeah.
I did that. And then my next job was a Nike commercial with him.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And so that's how I became a DP, was pretty quickly
Gotcha.
making that transition because somebody asked, and the director who asked me to do those first few spots, he said, you'll work way before I will.
Huh. Okay.
He's like, it takes longer for a director to make that inroad.
Yeah.
But people notice DPs quicker. So.
And were you telling people on set that I want to be a DP, or was it just it was kind of Fincher was asking
I wasn't.
you?
Yeah, I wasn't going crazy
Mm-hmm.
telling people.
Or like that you wanted to learn more about it. Not that you were trying to be like, can I have a job, please? But more of like, this is what I want to do.
I was lucky because I worked for really. I have what do they call it? I have good provenance.
Yeah.
Like,
Sure.
I've worked for some of the best like DPs in the business.
Yeah.
I gaffed for a guy named Harris Savides.
Okay. I'm not familiar with that name, but I'm sure he's wonderful.
I mean, he was unbelievable. He shot the Zodiac.
Oh, Harris.
Oh, wow.
The
Okay.
Game.
And so then when did the transition to TV happen? Or what was next after commercials? Was it film or was it TV?
The transition to TV happened when, like I said, the commercial world kind of blew up with
Sure.
strikes.
Mhm.
I had been
And no one was
working
calling.
primarily with one guy, and he had 2 heart attacks.
Right. Yeah. Crazy.
And yeah, I went for months without working.
And that's when Morgan Sackett came to you, right?
Yeah,
Okay. And did the pilot and then
the pilot. Yeah,
Wow, interesting. Okay, and
yeah.
then but at this time were you like before you were being a gaffer, were you studying being a gaffer? Like what brought your interest into that?
I mean, there's no.
That's what I'm saying. How do you study it? That's my
Well,
question.
no, I became.
You just do it.
I was a PA for a year and a half,
Okay.
and then I needed to
Seems
make
be the
more
starting
money.
ground. Yeah. Okay.
So,
Interesting.
in New York, I got into the union, and there were 2 unions in New York. Now there's only one, the IA.
Gotcha.
Back then there was the IA and another one called NABIT, which
Okay.
was like more of a TV union.
Okay.
If you weren't related to someone in the IA back then, you weren't going to get into the IA.
Mm.
So it was very closed shop, primarily because there was just enough work for those people in New York.
Mm.
Like it wasn't as busy. It's certainly not as busy as it is now.
Yeah.
So it took a while for that to open up, and until it did, people could join NABIT.
Gotcha.
So I
Okay.
took the electrician's test because like I said, I needed to make more money.
Yeah.
And you had to take a test to become an electrician.
Okay.
So I did, and then I was an electrician, and I worked for a couple of guys. And then I ran into this one guy hired me because of a friend of mine was working on this movie called Q. It's a horror film.
Okay.
Quetzalcoatl terrorizes New York City rooftops.
Wow. Okay.
You should check it out.
I will. I'll have to
And
link it in the show notes.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure. I mean, I had that crazy energy. I was like so excited to be working on anything. So
Yeah.
You know,
That's
the-
a stupid
yeah,
question,
so-
but would you like be an electrician around your house now? Like if anything broke, are you able to fix it, or are you just like because you took that electrician test?
There's a big difference between film electricity and
I would imagine.
I
was wondering
figured, yeah.
if there was like any crossover, so that makes sense.
tiny bit, but I'm not gonna rewire any house. That's for sure.
Yeah. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, that's intense. Wow.
So that's how I met this first guy. His name was Stefan Chopsky, and Stefan was gaffer for a guy named Michael Bauhaus.
Okay.
So we did a John Sayles movie with Stefan. I did Reckless with Daryl Hannah. We did After Hours.
Mm.
All those kinds of movies, tons of independents.
Yeah.
And Stefan was still is a tremendous lighting guy.
That's awesome.
So, and I was actually talking to him last week. And
Nice.
yeah, just he had a really unique vision in terms of like filmmaking.
Yeah, and the best way to learn is by seeing other people do it and just being on set, I feel. So that's
Yeah.
awesome. Okay.
And then probably, I'll give you one more. Probably
Yeah,
my
tell me
greatest
everything.
experience was I worked on a movie called Angel Heart.
Okay.
And Angel Heart is just it's just a lesson in British style lighting, which is just incredibly beautiful. So that was I learned a lot on that one.
Okay. Interesting. The way that it's like different from the British to America to other countries. Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw this meme
interesting,
where they were talking about every American filmmaker that wants to make a movie set in Mexico. They just like put a sepia filter over it. I thought it was so funny.
That's
Yep.
good.
Yeah.
Tobacco.
Right, exactly. That kind of brown tint. Okay, I wanted to ask you, you talked about your working with MTV and all these things and videos, which is amazing, but I was looking on your IMDb, and do you remember, I was a huge fan of Savage Garden in the 90s, all my 90s kids, and I don't know if you remember, but you did a video called Crash and Burn. Do you remember this video?
Wait, I'm gonna look it up.
Crash and Burn by Savage Garden. We need to talk about this.
When you texted me and said like check this out, and you said Savage Garden, and you were like it's this, like it's got this huge 90s vibe, my brain went to Soundgarden.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I was like, that doesn't sound like something Soundgarden would do, so I'm
Welcome to
glad I looked it up.
And you know I shot this?
Well, it says it on IMDb.
Oh,
Unless
okay.
they're lying.
I know. Well, let's see. Let's see.
So funny you don't remember. I mean, it was a long time ago. It was like 21 years ago. Michael, it's crazy.
Oh.
I
Oh.
watching this in real time.
Oh. Does it say? Does it say? How do we find out who directed this?
I don't know. It's all because I looked at the information, like the description, and it doesn't have any director or producer or anything. But your IMDb says that you directed it. So
It says I directed it.
let me look. Let me just double check. Maybe you DP'd it. It's absurd. I love it.
Man. Like.
Oh no, you
familiar, and then
DP'd it. You DP'd it, Michael. You didn't direct it.
All right. It doesn't say who directed it.
Let's look up.
So even more amazing, that song doesn't even begin to ring a bell. And I can't tell you how many songs I can identify in one note because I worked on the video.
Oh my god, that's hilarious.
I don't think
Is
I
it
like
ringing
this
a bell
director.
though at all?
I don't think I like this director.
I'm trying to look up who directed it. It doesn't say. I'm on Wikipedia right now. I mean, it's wild.
That's interesting.
It's very interesting. But it seems like a 90s kind of like new technology or trying to stay connected because the internet probably just came out at that time. And then there's like what's that word? Animaguses, where there's like half human, half animal, half like flamingo ladies.
Yeah. Oh. Oh. No. Oh, that web thing.
And at one point there's like a floating flying telephone.
Oh. Yeah.
I love all your reactions.
Oh. No, the tongues.
Yeah, when they're on the tree.
Oh, man. What the hell? How could I not? That's. Well, that obviously, that wasn't a one-day shoot.
I have no earthly
I
idea.
doubt it.
Crash and Burn? There's got to be some way to find out who directed that.
There's got to be. I see the producers of the actual record, but I don't see the... Yeah, I'm on like the video shot, and is a partially fantastical theme featuring scenes of troubled young adults interspersed with scenes of the group singing in a warehouse. I don't know who directed it. But anyway, I just like, maybe I need to talk to the director, but like I guess I'm also curious about like the lighting for that and the cinematography of it. How does one do that? Do they have an idea? And
Yeah,
then
I mean,
that's
that's
here's
why
the lighting, or are you on set during these times?
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
what is even the deal?
No, I think that's directed by Yariv Garber.
Okay. Who's that?
That's a good question. Like, look up Yariv now.
Oh, I see. Yariv Garber. Oh, I see. Okay. Hang on. Let me click on his name. Oh, this is so fun. Oh, my God.
Yeah.
IMDb.
Yeah.
Yeah. He
Nothing.
didn't direct a lot of stuff at all.
Did nothing.
He did a lot of videos. He did the video documentary Savage Garden. I didn't even know there was a video documentary.
Nor did I. This is new information.
But
Yeah, see, so
2005
he did-
was the last thing he did.
Right. And even that, he didn't do anything that year. That's just a video collection.
Yeah.
So that put the Savage Garden video on that collection. And even 2001. I wonder, yeah, who knows? But I remember, I remembered a few of those images. The girl with the flashlight,
Mm-hmm.
for some reason, I remember that shot really well. It might be because I have, if we were doing this at home.
What do you mean?
No, I have books. Back then I kept notes. I wonder if I should, because I know I've seen that picture of the girl
Yeah.
with the flashlight
Mm-hmm.
recently. And by recently, I mean like in the past 5 years.
Interesting.
And I think it was because my daughter was looking through my notebooks, because I used to take Polaroids and
Yeah.
stuff and do so much of that kind of stuff. And I used to tape them into these books.
Mm-hmm.
So I bet you I can look it up.
That would be great.
Just find out what I did, I guess.
Yeah, like with music videos, like I'm like really confused about what happens as a DP on a music video. Like, how do you work with the director to get what they want? Do you have a
Well,
meeting
usually-
beforehand or what
Oh
happens?
yeah. No, tons of prep.
Okay.
I mean, usually the videos are awarded.
Yeah.
Put some hand cream on. Videos are awarded to the director because of his concept.
Okay.
So-
Mm-hmm.
Then he hires a DP, but that concept's already figured out.
Okay.
So like take Express Yourself.
Mm-hmm.
That was really more art directed. Like once the art director built those sets,
Mm-hmm.
then yeah, Fincher would talk, and Fincher's very specific. He tells you what he wants very specifically. And then you go from there. Like, I mean, it was very obvious to me how Express Yourself should be lit just by the way the sets were.
Right.
It was going to be like, dank, ugly, but beautiful.
Right. And then
Ugly,
are
like,
you ever
textury.
involved- Yeah, textury. That's a good word. Are you ever involved in the editing of it? Like, because they can change lighting sometimes in like post as well, or no?
Well, then there's the final thing. So like if you're a DP on a TV show, you go to the color session at the end and make sure that it's close to what you want.
Yeah.
Eventually it goes to a TV station where there's some guy who puts it on the way he wants.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm just like trying to wrap my head around what you would have done, like what, not just you, but like what a DP would have done on set that day of that video. Are you just watching them do what they need to do after you're done lighting it kind of thing? Or do you light it and then leave?
No. Like, I'm sure the director would say, going to have these people up on this tree,
Okay.
this metal tree.
Okay.
I'm sure we went through tons of, video directors were always good at giving you tons of references,
Okay.
showing you hundreds of photographs.
Yeah.
I like this look. I like this look.
We're going to have words interspersed.
Well, that was all. Yeah. I mean, he told me because there was no way for me to really understand that other than him explaining that, because that was all done later.
Mm-hmm. Right.
But I remember, because then I remember, I guess, dealing with those shapes.
Okay.
that kind of widescreen shape within the screen.
Yeah. It's like a glass
Because even
wall or something.
and even the lights were even the lighting was like in those shapes. But that wasn't me.
Right.
That was the art director, and then just figure out how to light it so that, I mean, he just wanted it to be super dramatic, except on the front man,
Yeah.
because he's supposed to be, you know,
Nicely lit so we could see him.
yeah. And he said for him, he gets a ring light.
Right. Interesting. Okay. Oh my gosh, that is so fascinating to me. Especially, well, I mean, like, I can't imagine also all the new technology that came out, and not even technology computer wise, but the different advances in lighting that itself and the way that lights are perceived and all that good stuff. So, like, I mean, has there been a lot of changes since you started, and does it take a new like learning curve every time you see something new come out, or are you kind of like, this is what I like?
It
the
did.
end?
Well, it did. I mean, there was a point where digital was beginning to come out,
Yeah.
and early digital was horrible, like really, really horrible. And but you know, I tell people, they're like, you shoot digital. I'm like, I don't know what jobs you work on, but there's no one giving me a choice.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I don't remember anybody ever saying to me, you want to go digital or film?
Like, what do you prefer?
Like, that was decided before.
Interesting.
So then I decided, I mean, I realized early on I had to, like, not necessarily embrace it, but at least understand it, because
Yeah.
I felt like, you know, that's where it's going to go.
And they're just always coming up with new things, so you want to be well versed probably in what's going on and how you can, like, speak, or you can even say, like, I don't prefer that, or this won't
Back
look
then,
right.
yeah. Now it's just too much. There's too much technology.
Yeah.
There's lights. I don't like, you know, I mean, a friend of mine asked me if I would shoot his little short film. And I said, you know, I would, but I have not shot in years. And he goes, yeah, what does that matter? I'm like, I don't even know what the camera is now. I don't even understand the lights. The lights are not, I don't know the names of the lights. The lights are all different.
Interesting.
You know, the lighting I grew up with through most of my career as a DP was the same.
Yeah.
You know, old-fashioned tungsten light bulbs.
Wow.
1,000 watts, 5,000 watts, 10,000 watts. It's got nothing to do with that now. Now it's like, what color do you want the light?
Yeah.
Somebody punches it in on their phone.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my
crazy.
God. It's like, what the hell?
Crazy.
I mean, you know, I'll be on a set and I'll see a guy walking by with a light bulb that's lit. And I'm like, what? That's like Uncle Fester. I'm like, where was that when I needed, like, to hide a light? You know, without a cable. Yeah, no, it's changed so much and it's become so interesting.
Yeah, definitely. Do you find that creativity lends itself to the way that you see life, kind of?
The way I see life?
Yeah, like if you're in your house or something and the way that you want things set up aesthetically, like, do you think that you see differently than what other people might perceive, or not so much? It's more about the set.
No, I think everybody takes that home.
Okay. That's interesting to me.
Yeah.
Cute.
Yeah.
Well, one of the questions that we love to ask our guests, if you have one, is there a character on Parks from any episode that you feel that you would resonate the most with, that you feel like you act the most like?
Oh,
Or
that's
that you
funny.
like. But right now, I would love to hear who you resonate with. Like, I resonate the most with Leslie. Maddie resonates the most with Anne, and that's why we work. and so it's very interesting.
No.
No, come on, you gotta try.
No, I'm thinking. I'm like, no.
I think that you're a Ron. That's what I think.
I mean, maybe Ron, like just a little curmudgeon-y Ron.
Well, he is curmudgeon, but I'm not.
No, in like in a very logical kind of.
Yeah, exactly.
straightforward. But that's a weird question.
Okay, you got to think about it.
I'll think about it. The person I got the biggest kick out of,
Uh-huh.
the person I was happiest when I saw his name on the call sheet, and that was John Ralphio.
Yes.
Always Ben Schwartz.
I love him.
And I just loved because he would just go off.
Yeah.
He would
We're
just
so
go off.
into him here. He's
Yeah.
so great and talented and
He's
wonderful.
great.
What's
my
he
God.
doing now?
He just released Sonic 2. He's the voice of Sonic. He also is in this show called After Party, which I believe is on Hulu. I can't remember, but it's amazing. He also, well, it's already done, but something else he's known for is Middleditch and Schwartz with his improv troupe that's on Netflix with the fella from Silicon Valley.
That's hilarious.
He's working. He's out there.
What do you guys do?
I'm an actor and a singer, and so I lived in LA for like 5 years, and then I moved to Nashville to do my music. And then, Maddie, I'll let you say what you do.
Yeah. I originally got my degree in neurologic music therapy, and now I'm working with kids on the autism spectrum and helping their families build skills at home to support them.
Oh, that sounds awesome.
It's very rewarding.
Yeah.
But like you're saying, you take your work home. I take my work home. So
Yeah. And my wife
Totally.
does art therapy sometimes,
Oh, that's awesome.
but with the opposite, with older people.
Oh, nice.
Oh, cool.
Like-
with
like-
with Alzheimer's and stuff
Yeah,
like that.
yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, and that is. It's very rewarding. That's real. That's
It's
real
heavy.
shit.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Yeah. It's
Good-
a
good
lot
for you.
going on. But for the primary purposes of this, we are just Parks fans, and we love Parks.
Yes. That's why we do it.
And
And
it's
so-
crazy.
and so-
I mean, so many people are so kind of shocked and have to wrap their head around that we have a whole podcast about it. Because for a lot of people, it's just a job, and I 100% get that. I mean, it's like you do, like we can quote it, but I would not expect anyone who worked on the show to quote it because, you know,
Right.
it, first of all, it was a long time ago, but secondly, it's a job is a job is a job.
It's not even like. It's just that there's so much information,
Mm-hmm. There really is.
and you're asked to concentrate. So it's like, I think sometimes it helps erase what happened last week
Mm,
Mhm.
because you're concentrating on what you're supposed to do this week.
yeah.
And you need those little jogs, like seeing the girl with the flashlight.
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah, I did shoot this.
Yes.
Yeah.
Isn't that wild? That's
My
one of my
God.
favorite parts of talking to guests too is like, oh my gosh, I totally forgot that happened. Like that was really a time in my life.
Yeah,
We're taking you down memory lane, Michael.
yeah. I should interview my gaffer.
I want to.
Because
Let me know his info.
He's an old crabby guy, and he's retired.
Sounds
He'll-
like a
he'll-
true treat.
He'll say whatever he wants.
Oh my God, that's hilarious. Well, are you working
Yeah.
on anything right now? Are you retired too, or what's going on with you?
No, I don't want to retire, but I think it's all good. Get everybody out there. I find that I think there's a little bit of an issue with some people being put in positions too soon
Mm-hmm.
and not knowing how to like manage that.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm worried about the business in general
Mm-hmm.
because 10 years ago, in the past 10 years, scripted series have doubled.
Mm.
Crews haven't.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of people that are working, and I just don't think everybody's learning. There's not as many people who can teach that many people so quickly.
Right.
Mhm.
It's a lot
So
of
it's like-
content now.
There's so much, and there's so much, it's like if you say it's a job, it is a job, and there's parts to the job that have been established for years
Mm-hmm.
and been established by years of this is what makes the job work and be more efficient. And this is how we don't lose things, or, this is how we keep track of stuff, all of that.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I've been on a couple jobs recently where I feel like people weren't learning as much as they should to keep it going.
Yeah.
So I just hope they figure it all out, because I was starting to feel like there's going to be really good crews and then crews that haven't worked with other people that were good to learn from.
Mm-hmm. That's really
'Cause that's-
fascinating.
I mean, there's that 10,000 hour idea
Yeah. Yeah.
to be any good. Yeah, I think there's truth to, like, having to do something a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, you've seen people get bumped up to operators because they need operators,
Right.
but they don't necessarily know how it works, like what an
Right.
operator's job is.
Yeah. There's such a balance of doing it for 10,000 hours, but also being trained to do it, the right way, or, learning the different ins and outs and the ways that you can take your perspective to it. Yeah, so that's the yin and the yang of it all. So yeah, I'm with you. I hope that we get some good people as well. And hopefully we get people that actually want to learn and aren't entitled about it, or like, I just deserve to be here. So, and I've worked really hard.
No, and that's
all that.
yeah, and that's part of it, is that people are getting into these positions. And I mean, filmmaking is just, it's such a collaborative
Yeah.
thing. You'd be foolish
Teamwork.
not to take people's help.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's
Like-
something lovely that every Parks guest that we've interviewed, I feel, especially crew, all of them, like Shauna and everybody, is always just like, and Purd, we talked to Jay Jackson, who played Purd. What a guy. What do you have to say?
It was hilarious. It was hilarious.
So
all
you're
those
shaking your
all
head.
those all those other characters were just so funny.
They really were. But we talked to
Yeah.
those guys and gals, and yeah, that's the through line, and something I really love about the set that Amy Poehler and Mike Schur and Greg Daniels kind of created. They're always so much about learn and listen and observe from who you are working with, and really keep your eyes open.
Yeah.
And that's just not, I don't think that's the case all the time. So I loved hearing that from everybody that's worked on this show.
I felt like,
Mhm.
I mean, I didn't watch Shore's other shows.
Mm-hmm.
What was the one about heaven or whatever?
Oh yeah, The Good Place.
Oh, The Good Place.
Yeah, but I really felt like Parks was Amy's show.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Yeah, a lot of people have said
Like
that too.
The heart and soul of that. I mean, and that's not to take anything away from Shore, because Shore, I think, really understood the big Parks and Rec picture of like community and all that.
Yeah.
But I just felt that like a lot of the stuff was all about, because I have a daughter. Amy's got that thing with she's got her own podcast or whatever about girls.
Oh, oh my gosh, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, it's Smart Girls. Amy Poehler's
Right,
Smart Girls.
and it's all about like
Mhm.
being smart and powerful and like.
Yeah, and
you know,
uplifting
Yeah.
and empowering women and young girls.
And I
to,
feel like
know.
she really made that show resonate that way.
Yeah,
Mhm.
absolutely. We can definitely relate to that statement for sure.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
Yeah, and
I think that's
that
why
was-
people connect with that show on a deeper level too.
Yeah, totally. Well, and that's another
This-
thing that Mike Schur said when he was starting, and we've talked about this before as well, where like when he was casting, he was like, "I'm Amy Poehler or bust." That was his famous line. He was like, "We're gonna work to like she is the one that needs to play this role," and it was the
Right.
one. Yeah, and she was.
Well, they
all
didn't they
balancing
know each
everything.
other from
Yeah, from
SNL?
SNL. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy. Well, Maddie, do you have anything else that you'd like to ask before I let Mr. Trim go?
No, I've just been learning a lot, because this is the side of like Holly obviously knows more, because I was never like an actor or anything. So this is like the behind the scenes stuff that I don't understand or know. And so I've just been kind of soaking it all in, and like the amount of effort. I think people underestimate the amount of effort that goes into making these shows what they
Mhm.
are, and the amount of people that play a part in it. And so
Yeah.
I really think it's cool that we're getting these people that were involved in parks that are willing to come on and talk to us and like open
Yeah.
our eyes as to like what the behind the scenes is and how much effort goes into it, and each person playing their part. So I just appreciate all the information.
Amen. And even though I've been on set, you heard me ask my dumb questions. I still am so confused as to the behind the scenes as well. And I think, I mean, I've said this before with the stage managing. Like, I've done a lot of stage managing for theater and stuff before. And I think every actor should be a stage manager and every stage manager should be an actor. Like, you just create such empathy and teamwork when you know what everyone has to go through, or you have some kind of respect. Even if you don't know what that person is doing or the ins and outs of it, you still have the respect for the work. That's it.
No, and it's, you know, like you're saying, you see what happens on the set, but, you know, usually by the time you get to the set, everything should already be pretty much figured out. And so that's where the prep comes in, and pre-lighting, like call sheet. What are we doing tomorrow? What are we doing Friday?
Yeah.
Oh, we need to get this ready. And that's what your best boy does. It's what the gaffer does. It's what the pre-rigging guy does. They're sending people out. And that's what I mean about, you know, now people they don't know where they're going, you know, what's going on, who's going to take care of that lighting, because it's a thing that you learn of how to put it all together. That's separate from like, where does the light go? Right. How can I make it look pretty? Yeah. You can do all those things, but you don't get to do those things if all that other stuff isn't in place. That should be by the time you get there. Yeah. And there's not always there's always room for letting stuff, you know, work out. I mean, like as an actor, you know, always have a plan, but I almost never tell them the plan. Yeah. Well, that's what I was going to say. There's never time to like ask or talk so much with the crew. I mean, not that I've been on set 100 million times. I'm not like, you know, wildly acting all the time. But I mean, this is why I really appreciate this time right now with all the crew, and why I make it such a point to talk to people, because I think it's like an opportunity that I don't think I would really get on set unless I made like a very concerted effort. You know what I mean? So this is really nice. No, good. It's fascinating. It is. I think the crew is the most important thing. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I get it. And I agree. I think it's all about the collaboration of it, because one can't exist without the other. It's symbiotic. Yep. Yeah. So that's why I was happy to have Shauna on there too, especially with these kinds of shows, and you and directors and everything, because the camera operating is the back. It's a character, and with those shows, it's total character. Cannot exist, you know, it's funny. It. I don't know if Shauna told you this, but I mean, Amy, I think, treated her as a character. Yeah. Well, and she said that Nick Offerman did too. The cast did. She said that she was like BFFs with Nick Offerman, and like they created this really wonderful relationship where she could kind of turn the camera and he was there, or vice versa. Which it's nuts. She was a cast member, really. Yeah, and that's what I mean. Like that was good. Coming from that documentary world, yeah, it makes a big difference. Now she's shooting that Paul Feig thing. Yeah, Welcome to Flatch. Yeah, which he stole from the British show. Oh, I didn't know that. Of course he did. Oh my God. Oh, we're not original I think so. At all, are we? I mean, I only saw a clip, and I'm like, look, it's like the two cousins in the Cotswolds show in England. Is that what it is? I don't know, but I see what you're saying. I see the similarities. Yeah, you've seen that show? Yeah, very like the clips that you're talking. I haven't actually like watched whole episodes, but I've seen like YouTube clips. But the British one. Yeah, the British one. No, the British one. I know what you're talking about, and I like where she yells up at her mother. Yes, that's a famous one. Yeah. Mm. So I think he just took that concept of two kind of. Yeah. Not ne'er-do-wells, but like people who have nothing to do. Yeah. In a community and see how it plays. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, wow. Yeah. Art influences art, and on and on. Yep. I'll say this. Awesome. Best director on Parks that I worked with as a DP was Ken Kwapis. Ooh, okay.
Oh, I've heard great things about him.
My God. I mean, you know, most of them were excellent, but Ken just blew me away. That's awesome. Yeah, I would just watch him. Really? What particularly drew you to him? It was his relationship. He was very calm, which I like. I try to be very calm, but it was his relationship with the actors. He was just
important.
because he wouldn't. I never felt like he was directing,
Gotcha.
like he would tell him a story or something.
Yeah. Yeah, just creating kind of a camaraderie.
Yeah,
Mhm.
because
Yeah.
they don't need much.
Right.
I mean, there were so much, those people.
That's
Yeah.
crazy. Well, and that's something that they mentioned on the Office Ladies podcast. Like, they've tried it after The Office, they would go into the writers' rooms and like try to talk to them and stuff. And there seemed to be such a hierarchy or like dividing line between writers and actors, or like crew and actors, I should say. And that's just not how it was on The Office and Parks. And I think that's so interesting. Hopefully, we can make that line a little disappear a little bit.
Yeah, that makes it more fun.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Oh my gosh. Well, Michael, this was so fun. Thank you so much for coming on. This was amazing. I really appreciate
Yeah,
all your
thank you.
time.
Pretty funny. So where does this go now?
It's on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, anywhere you get podcasts. I'll send you a link once we post it.
How many people do it?
How many people like listen, or how
Yeah.
many? Oh gosh, I don't know off the top of my head the numbers. But we have a decent amount of reviews. We get at least I think it's at least 100 to 200 downloads a week. So we're
Okay.
still fresh though. We've only been doing it for a year-ish. And
Yeah.
podcasts, there's just so many podcasts to choose from. So it's going to take
There's so much of everything to choose from.
everything.
So true. Yeah.
But I know the fans that do listen are going to be very intrigued and very grateful and thankful for your time, because we love the episodes that you directed and your contribution to parks and just the entertainment world in general. So we thank you.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I hope
He's
I remembered
laughing at my
some stuff.
serious gratitude.
No, thanks. No. I
No,
think
I
these
know
things
what you
are
meant.
awesome.
I know what you mean.
I
just
have
think it's fun.
I have a good time. I like being interviewed.
Yay! All right, well, I'll
'Cause
keep
like
in touch.
it jogs my memory. Yeah. Yeah, we can do a second part.
Yeah, or if I
When
even
I
when
could
we
sh-
get to the episodes.
Yeah, no, and
there
I'll
are
show you
certain
those. I'll
ones.
show you those books. Like, look up the music video one.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
That'd be awesome.
And
That'd be fun.
what's the Express Yourself? I'm gonna watch that
Yeah.
after this too. And
Also, Rolling Stones.
Ooh,
Yeah.
Nice.
You know where they're big
uh-huh.
in Manhattan. They're walking
Okay.
down. They're like bigger than the skyscrapers.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Oh man, I gotta refresh my memory. I gotta watch that one again too.
Yeah, go find them.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you, ladies. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Yes, you too.
Thank you. You
Enjoy
too.
New York. Have a safe flight back, and we'll talk to you soon. Thank you so much.
right.
Bye,
Thank
Michael.
you. Bye.
Bye.
Yay!
Awesome.
That was so fun. That was I don't want to say weird, but it was like the most different perspective
Yeah.
we've ever had, and it was fascinating
Yeah.
to me.
Well, I think it's cool
Fascinating.
because he talked a lot about how that transition
Mhm.
between like a typical TV show and how that's filmed to the and how he had to shift his perspective, and that it wasn't necessarily comfortable, and so like that was a cool perspective to have
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah, I was so fascinated every second, and I just kept coming. Well, this is normal. I always come up with questions, but yeah, I just think it was really interesting to hear that side and to talk to someone who didn't. I don't think he did a lot of documentaries before this, whereas
Right.
I know Alex Hardcastle had done a few before, and Shauna was primarily a documentary person. She's still doing documentaries. She just released The Conductor, which we talked about on our show.
Right.
So, I mean, it was
less of a transition for them.
less of a transition for sure. And look, I think it's really fascinating too to hear everybody's like different opinions about what they enjoy shooting and what
Mhm.
really sticks with them, because I do think that The Office and Parks, as much as we love it, we sometimes forget that it's just not everybody's cup of tea.
It's really it's really
It's
not. And I
niche.
mean, right. Well, and I think
I still think he liked it though.
It's-
I'm not saying that he didn't like it, because
No,
that's
yeah,
why
yeah,
I
but
think
I
it was
think-
wonderful.
I think that there's also a difference between fans
Mhm.
who like The Office versus don't like The Office.
Mhm.
And there's a difference between people who actually will work in the film world that like The Office and don't like. I think they dislike it for different reasons.
Mhm.
The fans versus the film people,
Yeah.
right? So I think it's different, and it's cool to hear that kind of side of it, because
Yeah.
like the people I talk to who are like people who have watched it, they're like, I just can't get past Michael Scott, and like
Yeah.
you know, the shit he says. And like,
Yeah.
that's to each their own for
Yeah.
sure. Like I get it, but I think it sounded more the style
Definitely.
for
It was
him.
the style. Because
Yeah.
I mean, that was fascinating for me to hear. I mean, I said it when we were talking, but he's right. It's not very cinematic. It's not very designy, or you know what I mean? And that's like kind of what Greg Daniels wanted to do. So that was the vibe that they were going for, which I guess is like a check mark for them. But that's like, again, that's not everybody. Like as a DP, I'm sure that's like, maybe that's not what you enjoy most, or like working on, and maybe not enjoy personally, like to watch, but like working on it, you know, maybe that's a little boring. Maybe you want something a little more challenging.
Right. And to go from everything has to be perfect, every light has to be in the right spot, everything, to no, we want it to not look like that.
Right.
We don't want it we don't want it to look perfect.
It's too pretty.
That would
I loved when you said that.
That would mess me up too.
Yeah.
Right. Like if I've been doing something the same way and it's been the right way for so long, and then it's like, we don't want that. It's like, okay, well now you got to you have to shift everything you've known.
Right.
And he said he started in like in the 70s or 80s. Right. So you think he's been doing this exact way, right, of how to do it for 20 years before he gets to parks. So it's, you know, it's tough.
It's so fun, though, to learn about all these different ways that people come and approach this show, and just in general. So, I really appreciate his time, and I thought that was so fun. So, thanks everybody for listening. And if there was any questions that I didn't ask, you know, let me know, and I'll see if he's open to answering them. But I thought I also love hearing them say that they went down memory lane. That's like really that brings me so much joy to hear them like feel happy about the memories that they are thinking about. And I'm so glad we got to talk about that Savage Garden video. Oh my God, that was so funny. You guys, I will post that in the show notes, or maybe I'll even post it on the
you should do a little clip of it for Insta.
For the main feed, because it is gnarly.
It's a lot.
It's so nice.
It's just my sensory systems were like
sensory overload.
Yeah, it was a lot. But that's like the 90s. But that's what, do you get what I'm saying? That was like when you said it was like 90s chaos. Yeah. My brain thought you meant Soundgarden.
Oh yeah.
With Chris Cornell. And I'm like,
with like the actual like the sounds being chaotic, you mean? Or like the music being chaotic?
I just thought everything, but like Soundgarden isn't really one of those like poppy. They're like a rock band.
I need to listen to them again. Maybe I'm getting confused.
Yeah.
But either way.
It's Chris Cornell from who is also an Audio Slave.
Oh, okay.
So it's like a 90s alt rock band, but that's where my brain went, and it was like, I don't foresee Chris Cornell being like psychedelic-y with his videos.
So funny. Oh
not to say that he would have a say, right? That's more the label choosing a director or whatnot, but anyway.
Yeah. Well, that's amazing. Also, I wanted to do this has nothing to do with parks, but I wanted to do a pour one out for the Foo Fighters drummer that passed away.
I know.
Taylor Hawkins.
I was going to talk to you about that.
So sad.
I was so blessed to get to see them live, like when he was still
that's amazing,
kicking it. So he's awesome. And the conversation my dad and I always have is Dave Grohl was the drummer of Nirvana, one of the greatest bands ever. So we always say, how great of a drummer do you think that guy is, that Dave Grohl said, I'm not going to drum in this band. That guy's going to drum, you know? So, and he was great, and he had that great long hair, and he just great. He had a great personality and stage presence. Like I honestly, like I got it when we were out to dinner last night, and it was just like, what? No.
I know.
So
tragic.
If you got to see them live, good job, guys. Like that,
Seriously.
what a great thing. But yeah,
definitely put that in your memory bank to save, because amazing. Did you see or did you know about this Foo Fighters trailer movie, or have you seen it?
No.
The trailer for the movie. Oh my God, Sean showed it to me last night, and I was like, what the fuck? I'll send it to you. There's a movie coming out. Hang on, I'm gonna Google.
Is it like a documentary?
No, it's like a horror not mockumentary, but it's like a story about the Foo Fighters, fictional. But it's like they're all in
Okay.
this house writing the last record, and it's like turns into a horror movie. And Whitney Cummings is in it. It's kind of like a scary movie, horror movie though, not like paranormal or whatever. But there's
Okay.
like comedy in it.
That's so Dave Grohl.
Oh my God! It's called Studio 666, and it's
Okay.
yes, so Dave Grohl.
Nice.
And it's supposed to come out this year. When is it supposed to come out? I don't know. But regardless, I'll have to send you this trailer.
Okay.
Foo Fighters Supernatural Horror. Oh my God. Let's see. Films Now movie trailer. When does it come out? Let's see. Release date. April 5th. Okay, so next month, you guys. No, wait.
That's like no, that's literally like in 10 days or something.
Wait, that's shit. Nope, that's the record. My bad. That's the
Oh,
record from a million
okay.
years ago.
Oh, he wasn't even alive for the record to be dropped.
Well, no, wait. The record, that was... No. Okay, Google just pulled up April 5th, 2011. Okay, so that
Oh,
doesn't
okay.
even count. No, that doesn't count.
So
Wait, is it already out? The film is set to release worldwide on February 25th. Depending on where you live, you can actually check out showing times. What? Is it already out? All right. Okay. We don't have time for this. But also, I need it. It's in theaters now and at home on demand. What the fuck? It's already out, you guys. Okay.
all right. Well,
This
go
was
see it now.
not popularized, but Whitney Cummings is in it, which is hilarious. But no, Taylor Hawkins was in it, which is the main point of this story, and so he is
Yes.
immortalized in the film world as well, as well as his contribution, obviously, to Foo Fighters. So,
Yeah.
wow. It says
So
2
many
days
years
ago.
of music.
Somebody just posted 2 days ago that it's now in theaters. So yeah, it's really recent. And let's see, today's Saturday. This will be coming out Thursday. So, yeah, wow. Okay.
I wonder how he died.
It says
Do we know that yet?
it says it hasn't been disclosed. I looked that up too. I don't think
Okay.
they know yet, or they're just not wanting to release it yet. So
Which either way, that's fine.
yeah,
But-
totally. Oh my God. Okay. Well, thanks for listening. If
I
you're still
did.
here, everyone.
Yeah. Yeah. But we'll see you next time where we'll be reviewing another show.
Yes. We will see you next time. And thanks again to Michael Trim. We had a great time. This was a fun Saturday interview. And just like, so what's the word for that? When you just like didn't think of something one way and you are
Eye-opening.
eye-opening. That's great.
it was an
very
eye-opening interview.
eye-opening. I almost said existential, but that's not, no, that's not what I mean.
That's like out of body.
Yeah, well,
Kinda.
existential is like where you're like thinking about your life and like what your
yeah.
purpose is in life and blah,
Yeah.
blah, blah. But then, no, this is just eye-opening. It
Yeah.
just feels deeper than eye-opening.
Yeah. Eye-opening
get me.
squared.
Yeah, eye-opening squared. Anyway, well, thank you everybody for listening. If you haven't yet rated or reviewed, also LOL at him saying how many people listen to this. I was like, bro,
Right.
I don't know. I do think that there is like 100 to 200 downloads. I do see that on our stats or whatever, but like
Mhm.
that doesn't mean that there's not more or less really,
Right.
because sometimes people don't download it. They just listen to it via streaming. So that's
True.
another thing for our listeners. If you can download it, that would be much appreciated because downloads are the only thing that show up in our stats, and reviews are the only ways, which I've said this many times, but that's the only way. I was not going to tell him that there's only 26 reviews, though, because he seemed like the kind of person where he would be like, 26? Is that it?
Really? Mm-hmm.
I'm sure he would have been fine with it. He would have been like, whatever. He seems very nonchalant about that kind of thing. But anyway, so thank you all for hanging in. Have a great week, and we'll see you soon.
Yeah.
There's a park and some pals, and there's also therapy too.